Good morning grade 6. Welcome back to grade 6 mathematics class. Hope you all are doing great today. Let's learn about equivalent ratios today. So first, look at the example given here. There are 15 apples, 20 oranges and 5 pineapples in a basket. We have to find the ratio of the number of apples to the number of oranges. So how can we write the ratio? We can divide the number of apples by the number of oranges. So let's see how we can write the ratio. The number of apples is equal to 15 and that has to be divided by the number of oranges, which is equal to 20. So 15 by 20. This can be expressed with the ratio 15 is to 20. Now if you look at it, it is in the form of a fraction and we can reduce this to a simplest form. So both 15 and 20 are multiples of 5. Hence if we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 5, we will see it gets reduced to 3 by 4. And 3 by 4 can be written as a ratio like 3 is to 4. Here the original ratio is 15 is to 20 and the corresponding fraction 15 by 20 could be reduced to 3 by 4, which corresponds to the ratio 3 is to 4. So just like 15 by 20 equals to 3 by 4, we can say 15 is to 20 equal to 3 is to 4. That is, the ratio 15 is to 20, when reduced to the simplest form, we get the ratio 3 is to 4. Both these have the same value. Both these shows the same relationship. Or we can say the ratio 15 is to 20 is a multiple of the ratio 3 is to 4. Now let us see a different case. Here we have to find the ratio of the number of oranges to the number of pineapples. What is the number of oranges? It is equal to 20. Now what is the number of pineapples? It is equal to 5. So it is 20 by 5 and the corresponding ratio is equal to 20 is to 5. Now have a look at this 20 by 5. Both these are multiples of 5, hence we can reduce this to a simplest form. So how can we reduce 20 by 5 to its simplest form? If you divide both the numerator and the denominator with the number 5, you will get 4 here and here it will be 1. So this becomes equal to 4 by 1. And when you express 4 by 1 as a ratio, we have to write 4 is to 1. See, a fraction and its simplest form has the same value. It represents the same value. So 20 by 5 has the same value as 4 by 1. Hence the ratio 20 is to 5 has the same value as 4 is to 1. So when you have two ratios which give the same value or which represents the same relationship or comparison, we say they are equivalent ratios. You can see the original ratio will be a multiple of its simplest form, and it is always best to express a ratio in its simplest form. So how can we define equivalent ratios? See, two or more ratios that express the same relation or comparison of numbers are known as equivalent ratios. Equivalent ratios can be simplified or reduced to the same value, because when you reduce to the simplest form, it retains its value. The value remains the same. And in other words, we can say two ratios are considered equivalent if one can be expressed as a multiple of the other. Now, do we use any unit to represent a ratio? No, we don't write any unit for a ratio. Now we will see one question. It says the ratio of the number of apples to the number of oranges in a basket is 3 is to 7. Whereas the ratio of the number of apples to the number of oranges in another basket is 2 is to 5. Which basket has more apples if the total number of fruits are equal in both the baskets? So let us first make a note of the data given to us. We are given in the first basket the apples and oranges are in the ratio 3 is to 7, which means for every 3 apples there will be 7 oranges in the basket. Now, in the second basket, the apples and oranges are in the ratio 2:5, which means for every 2 apples, there will be 5 oranges in the basket. Now, we have to compare these two ratios to decide which basket contains more number of apples. So, how can we compare ratios? See, comparing ratios is similar to comparing fractions. So, let us first represent these ratios in the form of fractions. Now, the ratio 3:7 can be represented with the fraction 3/7. The ratio 2:5 can be represented with the fraction 2/5. So, 3:7 is the same as writing 3/7 and 2:5 is the same as writing 2/5. So, we have got two fractions 3/7 and 2/5. Now, let us compare these two fractions. You can see the two fractions are unlike fractions. So, to compare unlike fractions, the first step is to convert them into like fractions with the help of LCM of the denominators. So, let us take the LCM of the denominators. The denominators are 7 and 5 and the LCM of 7 and 5 is equal to 35. So, let us convert the unlike fractions to like fractions. For that, we need to change the denominator to the LCM. So, 3/7 will be equal to 15/35 and 2/5 will be equal to 40/35. See, we have changed the denominator to the LCM. So, we have two like fractions. The denominators are the same. The same denominator indicates that both the baskets contain the same number of fruits, the same total number of fruits. So, when you compare the like fractions, you can see that 15/35 is greater than 14/35. So, the corresponding ratio 3:7 will be greater than 2:5. And the ratio 3:7 corresponds to the first basket. So, the first basket contains more apples than the second basket. So, I hope this question is clear to you. We will see one more question. It says divide ₹120 between Ram and Kamal in the ratio 3:2. So, what is being asked here? We have a total amount of 120 rupees. This has to be shared between two people, that is Ram and Kamal. And it is said it has to be divided, the amount has to be divided in the ratio 3:2. So, this means if the amount 120 is divided into equal parts, Ram has to get 3 parts out of it and Kamal should get 2 parts out of it. So, what is the total number of parts here? The ratio is 3:2. So, the total number of parts will be 3 plus 2 and that is equal to 5. Now, this means if the total amount 120 is divided into 5 equal parts, Ram has to get 3 parts out of the 5 parts and Kamal has to get 2 parts out of the total 5 parts. So, how can we find out the equivalent amounts? Let us see the steps. The total amount is equal to ₹120 and the total number of parts is equal to 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Now, Ram's share will be 3/5 of 120, which is equal to 3/5 into 120 and it is equal to ₹72. Now, Kamal's share would be 2/5 of 120 rupees, that is 2/5 into ₹120, which is equal to ₹48. So, the total amount 120 can be divided into 5 equal parts and Ram gets 3/5 of it, which is equal to ₹72 and Kamal gets 2/5 of it and that is ₹48. So, children, I hope these examples are clear to you. A few more solved examples are given in your textbook. So, first you have to go to the topic equivalent ratios, which is given from page number 143. Then you have to go to the solved examples given in the textbook. Then there is a try this exercise given in relation to the topic. This is in page number 143. You have to find ratios of the situations given there, and then you can also complete the first 8 questions of exercise 10.1, that is from question number 1 to 8. So once you are done with all the answers, please do take a picture and send this to teams. So that's all for today, children. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, bye.